Hello everyone, how's it going? Yeah? Yeah? How was that movie? Yeah? All right, they told me to be careful down these steps. But guys, look at my pillow. Isn't that dope? But when they gave it to me, I was terrified that he was gonna like knock me out and I was gonna land on it. Like can you imagine that's how the Q&A ends? I just stick them on the floor, laying on this thing. But just, you know what they said, put it behind. I'll let Ke support me right here. There we go. Oh, so do we like the movie or what? Yeah? My gosh. Okay, guys, we have a very special Q&A here for you guys today. So excited that you guys are excited and love the movie. Now, I'm Straw Hat Goofy, aka Juju Green. You're a movie guy. You guys may know me from TikTok. Yeah, they're like 5 people. Thank you. I'm not the one you're here to see, though. You know, you guys are here to see the one, the only Ke Huy Quan.
Wow, thank you.
I heard you like we weren't just hanging out backstage.
Wow, thank you so much for coming out on opening weekend. This means a lot to me. So thanks. Thanks for being here.
Okay, so obviously everyone here knows you from so many things, right? Like The Goonies, Indiana Jones. They saw you win an Oscar for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Congratulations on that, by the way. I'm repressing jokes about dildos right now, but I will keep those to myself and we'll talk about it later. But this is your first movie where you're in a starring role as a leading man. Like, this is incredible for you. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
It's a long time coming, but now that the dust has settled and people are watching this film on opening weekend, can you talk to me about what you've seen when it comes to the audience reactions?
Well, first of all, it hasn't really quite settled in for me yet because this is opening weekend. I just came back from New York to do press. I'm sure when all of this is over and when I have time to reflect on this part of the journey, I'm sure emotionally it's going to hit me quite a bit. But what has been incredible is that ever since the trailer came out and everybody's seen it and knowing that this is finally, I get my turn as being the number one on the call sheet, as we call it. There's been this incredible outpouring of love and support, and people just, me reading their comments and hearing what everybody has to say has been really heartwarming. I'm so moved. So thank you.
Yeah, I love it, man. Oh yes, clap it up. This is a journey, what, 40 years in the making, man? Come on. This isn't...
And also, I recently, this was a surprise to me. I was just recently shown a video that was put together, the Daniels, Stephanie Hsu, Tom Hiddleston, Ken Jeong, and all my great friends just took the time out and recorded a very sweet message for me, a very, congratulatory and sweet message, and I have it on my IG. I just posted, I think today. It was a wonderful thing to watch.
I saw that video and I was kind of hating a little bit because I wanted to be a part of it and nobody called me. I would have glad to have been one of your great friends, but we're working on it. Maybe next movie and I can be on that video with Tom Hiddleston.
We had have you guys seen what we did? Yeah, that was really fun.
Yeah,
and he didn't kick ass.
Nowhere near as well as you did in this movie, man. This was absolutely great. You actually kicked my buddy's ass, the nobodies, and that looked really, really cool too. I think you have a future as an influencer one of these days. I think you can do that. You got some support back there. But in this movie, you were an ex-assassin, right? And Marvin is kind of escaping an entire past as this assassin. But what I found interesting in this movie is that he is someone who sells homes, but yet he doesn't necessarily have a home to go to in that sense. Is that sense of longing that he shows in this movie something that you thought about when creating this character? Was it built into the performance?
Yeah, I resonated with him because, for a long time, I myself, looking back in my past, I always longed for. Yeah, I always wanted to belong. I felt like for a long time I was just I didn't know my own identity. I didn't know quite where I belong or what I have to offer to society. And that that was an interesting journey. So playing Marvin Gable and kind of this interesting character where he recognizes the stuff that he has done in the past is just despicable, and hoping to redeem himself and really asking for a second chance at life. And if you look at all the profession that he chose to do, he wanted to be a real estate agent and to help people's dream of owning a home come true, having destroyed so many homes. And I myself, I know what second chance really means. Certainly, especially given what everything has happened in the couple of years in my own personal life. So yeah, it was just a fun character to play.
Yeah, I love that you brought that up because you took the words right out of my mouth, man. It kind of mirrors your life and career in a lot of ways, right? Getting that second chance, and now look at you, you're a leading man in your own movie after winning an Oscar. Like, it's honestly a story that can truly bring a tear to someone's eyes. When I'm someone, sorry. But when it comes to the retired assassin getting back into the game and kicking ass, like we've seen that story before, right? With John Wick and Taken and things of that sort. But this is the first time that this is done through the lens of a romantic comedy. Like, you talk to me about kind of bringing that unique perspective into this film.
Well, Valentine's Day is a very special day for me in the year because I get to show my wife how much I love her. And our tradition, really, every year is the same. It's always going out to dinner, where I give her a present, and then we would go and end up in the movie theater to watch a movie. And the movie that we watch is really special because years later, then I would watch the same movie again, and it would kind of bring me back to that, to that day and that year that we celebrate. And it's fun when you have a wife or a girlfriend. But I remember when I was younger, when I was just single, and what Valentine's Day normally that weekend, it mostly just romantic comedy, right? And it just feels kind of weird to go to a romantic comedy on Valentine's Day with a bunch of guys' friends. I didn't want to be like, oh my God, look at those guys, bunch of losers who can't get themselves dates, So I always wanted an action movie where I can go and watch it, with my friends. And so when this kid came along, it's like action movie, Valentine's Day, it's perfect. That's what I want. So yeah, we try to make it fun and just where you can go watch a movie and forget about your troubles. And hopefully we can entertain you and you come out feeling a little refreshed. That's it.
See, what I'm hearing is that you made this movie for your wife and for the guy who was fifth wheeling it on dates during Valentine's Day. You're welcome out there. So when it comes to like this movie, it's about kind of confronting your past, right? Now, did you find yourself looking back on your own past, and were there lessons that you learned confronting your own past when it came to kind of creating this character?
Yeah, I certainly had a lot of time reflecting on my past, especially what's happened in the last couple of years. But also going back further to the days when I was just a struggling actor and looking back how everything has happened since. I always feel like I wouldn't change a thing. It kind of my past kind of made me who I am today. And of course, every time now I walk on a movie set, I approach it with a huge sense of gratitude and knowing how lucky I am. And that's how and also being an actor, I think you have, in order to have something to offer, you kind of have to live your life outside of your work too, and just have that life experience, the ups and downs, also the quiet moments, and then to be able to use that and put them in the characters that you play, because you can't really fake it. The audience will see right past that. So that's what I try to do is every time I play a role or a character, a character in any situation, if it involves, a lot of emotions, a lot of stuff that I try to draw from my own life and try to bring as much authenticity to it as possible.
Sounds like a lot of this like hit close to home while you were filming this, right?
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
But again, I mean, this is a fun movie, so we had a lot of fun making it.
I mean, you're a fun guy, so that also hits close to home. So I hung out with this guy backstage. I hung out with you a couple times now, and
we have nice chats.
We always have a great pass right now. So something that I've been really interested in was the costume choice in this movie. You have this really fun sweater that has a bunch of like blacked out hearts, and then you have the one broken heart in the center. And I find that a lot of times costumes can tell a lot about the character before they even speak. And you can tell me if I'm wrong, but it seems like your character Marvin's relationship with Ariana DeBose's Rose is what kind of inspired like the heart on it. Am I right in thinking that? Like, you explain a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean, I remember when our costume designer gave me the sweater to wear. I was trying it on for the first time, and I was a little reluctant because it's such a a big statement of to show how much I love her, and I didn't know what to make of it. But once when we got on set and started filming wearing that costume, there was two feelings. I thought, oh, this is perfect. It just makes him this lovable character, and kind of really tells who he is.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, doing those fights in this thick weather, that was the worst idea because we were inside a stage with like huge lights, like shining into the set, and I was so sweaty. Doing those fights, wearing that thick. Oh my gosh! And then they would have like these huge tubes of air conditioning blowing air into the set when we're not filming. But when we're filming, we would have to turn them off because of the smoke.
Yeah.
And it was just like I wish I was in t-shirts. Yeah.
Now I honestly understand everything that you're saying so much because 87 North were the guys who choreographed a lot of these things and like they expertly just crafted all the fight scenes amazingly. But when we did our thing with our video, my initial thought was to do it in a jacket because by now I like to wear nice jackets. And I said, yeah, it would be cool if I did a whole fight scene in a jacket, it would look cool. But then as soon as I walked in, I was like, it's so hot in here. So I baked the taking the jacket off into the fight scene that we did. And then I was thinking like, he's in a sweater this whole movie, like kicking ass. Like you must be sweating. So it's nice to get confirmation on that.
No, it was not easy. It was, but the nice thing is about, when we do fight scenes, we try to wear sweaters or jackets because we can wear pads.
Oh, yeah.
Because we really go at it with these fights. There's no holding back, especially like, the finale with Daniel Wu. We fought each other. We would just go in full force, and then we would have pads on our arms. But still, we still get bruises and aches and pains.
But you're good now, though, right? Like
I'm fine. I feel like I should get an endorsement from Epsom salt because that's what I soak my body in every night. And production kept ordering bags and bags. They would just come in boxes. So Epsom salt, if you're hearing this, give me an endorsement.
See, we talked about you having a career as an influencer. Now you need to have like a video with you in a bathtub soaking with Epsom salt. Just, hey, Epsom salt, key. So these fight sequences, as we just discussed, were crafted by 87 North, like David Leitch's like amazing stunt team, stunt company. They do amazing work. We saw them in Fall Guy, who did some amazing work as well. Can you talk to me about like working with them and like crafting these scenes and like what was the process like, just putting these fight scenes to the screen?
Well, when you have incredible action teams from 87 North, they're really knowledgeable in making movies like this. And also at the same time, I think because of my own personal background as action choreographer before I became an actor again, so I understand the process quite well. And so once when we came together, it was really easy. We were all in sync. We knew what kind of movie we wanted to make. We knew what kind of fight sequence we wanted to design. And it was really an homage to those, Hong Kong 80s action movies, with Jackie Chan and Sammo Hung. That's what we were aiming for. and it was just it was challenging. Every time you design a fight scene, it's hard because we've seen so many of them. So how do you make it different? How do you make it refreshing? And a lot of times you can't, because you only have two hands, two legs, and punches and kicks. It's the same no matter how you do it. And the only way you try to do it differently is if you add a narrative into the fight. For example, like, the kitchen fight with Marshawn Lynch. That entire fight was about Marvin Gable holding on to that certificate that he got from his mentor.
Yeah.
And it kind of shows you how much that means to him, because it's a validation of what he's, of his new life, while he's being dragged back into his old life as an assassin. So you kind of see this tug of war, and that made it interesting to me.
Yeah, well, one thing I do want to like really touch on when you say like his old life and holding on to like his new life, I realized that there's this kind of like visual thing that happens at the beginning of the movie where Marvin's looking at all these posters of his, and they're being drawn on with mustaches and things of that sort. And the thing that really struck me was that in your past life as an assassin, you had a mustache. So I can tell, like, as your character, that bothered you a lot, because that was almost symbolizing your past life catching up with you and bleeding into your new life. So
yeah, I think every time when he was an assassin, every time he stared in the mirror, it was so disgusting to him, and that's why he chose to put on a pair of glasses, kind of like Clark Kent, trying to put on this mask and then getting rid of the mustache. It was as if he's trying to shed, whatever image that he had in the past. Yeah.
Yeah, and when you talk about like the fight scenes and adding something new to it, because again, if you watch enough movies, you kind of see these things before, so the narrative is very interesting. But what I really liked was taking it back to references within the fight and revealing character. I think I might have noticed the iconic Bruce Lee 1-inch like punch in there, which was amazing, and I want to know, is that correct? And were there other references to other fight scenes that were baked in there? And like, what did you add some new stuff in there for yourself that you hope to be iconic?
Well, first of all, Bruce Lee is really, is iconic and legend, and he also opened up this, world of like kung fu martial arts to the entire world, and that's really where that interest started to begin. So that, yes, that one punch was kind of, paying tribute to that man. But the entire design was really to the movies that we love growing up. As I said earlier, kind of the the Sammo Hung, Jackie Chan era in the 80s, and it was just kind of fun, highly choreographed, fun. There was comedy. And as the movie progresses, it gets more intense and more intense. That was the design of it.
Yeah. Last thing I want to say about this, because we could talk about that kitchen scene all day. I know I can, but that moment in the fridge, I was so geeked when I saw that, and then like the fridge got thrown. Part of me wants to say that was an Indiana Jones reference. I want to.
The fridge, is that what you're referring to?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they. I mean, it was in the script, but when it was shown to me, yeah, that was I knew big indie fans would reference that.
Right.
It was kind of fun. I liked it. Yeah,
I loved it. Let's talk.
Now I know what indie felt like when he when he threw in there and then landed on the ground and come out of it.
Right, with Marshawn Lynch being the Duke, right? In this sense. But let's talk about Marshawn, the man who threw you into the fridge, right? Like, I've been seeing you guys post on social media and things of that sort. You guys seem very close, and I would love to know how your relationship kind of like blossomed throughout the filming of this movie, and what was some lessons that you took away from each other as you got closer?
I love him so much. We had so much fun. What I love about Marshawn is that, because he's a legend in the sports world, but he hasn't been doing this for a long time. So, and I love his attitude where he comes on set and he has this this kid's curiosity of what's going on. He's always asking questions. Every time we do something, he would come over and he says, "Ke, why do you do that? Why did you have to prepare for it?" And very interested in how we do fight sequences.
Nails it, man.
Yeah, he nails it. He trained with our guys, but he's so athletic. It didn't take long for him to really understand what we were doing. And in the beginning, I was kind of scared because that is a big man. If he throws a punch and it lands on my face, that would be the end of the movie. But he was so controlled. He every punch that he threw, it just landed right here, and of course it was tough fighting him.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun.
I remember walking by him at the after party, just going, "Whoa! I hope this guy doesn't like."
You know the thing, we just had a premiere at the Man Chinese Theater. My family was here with me, and he was hanging out with them. And Mashan Lynch, I don't know if he knows this or not, but he has this ability to get you to do anything basically. So Mashan's legendary pre-game 1.5 shot ritual of Hennessy. That's what he was doing with my family. He was doing shots with them and actually got them all drunk. And my family came back to the hotel and they were so happy. But it was a great night.
That sounds like a great night. So now that we talked about Marshawn, let's talk about another relationship, a close relationship that I imagine that you have, because there was a Goonies reunion within this movie with Sean Ashton.
Did you guys like Sean? Yeah, it was great.
I also want to point out that him getting capped in the one eye, I was like, oh, he's one eye Willie now.
Oh my gosh, I did not think about that. I was gonna text him. He became One-Eye Willie.
He became One-Eye Willie. Somebody clip that.
That is, did anybody see that?
Did anybody else think about that? Yeah, see?
Oh, this entire time, I never thought about that.
Saying the quiet part out loud, what can I say?
That's great.
But what was it like? Did you guys have a moment to just like look at each other and say, oh my God, we're here like decades later filming a movie?
Yeah, when he first walked on set, I remember dropping everything I was doing and I ran to him and gave him a hug and thanked him for one, agreeing to do this. And it didn't really hit us until when we actually sat down in the office scene where he gave me the certificate. And Jeff Cohen and the Goonies, aka Chunk, was there behind the monitor watching. And from the get-go, from when we just started rehearsing, it was really special because all of a sudden I was a kid again, and it kind of brought me back to the adventure that we all went on. And it was pretty amazing. It was, and then the tears that you see in the movie, not only were they tears from Marvin Gaye, but they're also tears. There was, my tears, just to be able to share the screen with him, and for another 40 years.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh man, we all felt it, man. Like I'm sure a lot of us were happy to see that reunion happen on screen, right?
Yeah.
My gosh. All right, and finally, our final question before we end this Q&A. You are finally a leading man, dude. Like, where? Where do you hope to go next after this?
I don't have, I'm never a person to have goals or kind of know where I'm going. I get inspirations sitting where you are and watching movies. I spend a lot of times just watching movies and enjoying good performances, good storytelling. So for me, I just hope to play more meaningful roles and to be able to collaborate with filmmakers and producers that I really love and admire. Like Everything Everywhere All at Once is such a special movie. I feel like that only comes out, it comes along once in a long, long while. We have a saying in Chinese, which is 天时地利人和, which means time, place, and people. And when those three elements come together and align perfectly, magic is created. And I feel that's how I feel like for Everything Everywhere. So hopefully it doesn't only happen once, but hopefully it'll happen a few more times, and to be able to work with incredible people.
Well, before I let you go, I just want to say that a movie like Everything Everywhere All at Once comes once in a while. An actor, a story, someone like you only comes once in a while.
That's very sweet.
I just want to say thank you for talking to me. And congratulations.
Thank you.
My God, everyone, Ke Huy Quan.
Thank you so much for coming here.
Take care.